UFC Qatar takes place in just a couple of days, and today I wanted to go through the entire card and tell you who I think is going to win and why. This is all just my opinion. So if you disagree with any of my picks, that's totally cool. I even warned that, I want that. Let me know who you think is going to win and why in the comments down below, but let's be civil about it. We're going to get right into it with the first fight on the prelims. All right, Merrick Bujlo versus Denzel Freeman. By the way, I'm so bad with pronunciation, so keep that in mind, okay? I did my research, though, I promise. Both of these guys are making their debuts. They're both heavyweights, so maybe we'll see a little prospect here. I think Denzel Freeman is the favorite. I'm not sure if the odds pop up here. No, they don't. But I low-key think Bujlo can get this one done. I think he's a little bit more well-rounded. He's 6-0. All of his fights by finish, 3 submissions, 3 knockouts. I think he's going to be able to knock out Denzel Freeman in this fight. I hope it's exciting. I hope we have a new heavyweight prospect. He's also the bigger guy. They have the same reach, which is interesting, but he's a bigger guy. I think he's going to be a little bit more powerful and well-rounded. Nurullo Aliyev versus Shamrock. This is Shamrock's UFC debut. Aliyev's done this a couple of times. He even has fights in the Contender Series, which is very useful. Shamrock is actually very dangerous, especially with submissions. 8 of his 11 wins, or 12 wins, are by submission. But I really think if Aliyev can avoid the submission in the ground game, I think Aliyev can get this one done by decision. I'm going to lean Nurullo Aliyev. Ismail Nardiev versus Ryan Loder. Both of these guys are coming off of losses, but they're honestly to pretty decent names. Jong Park and Azamat Bikoev. I think all around Ishmael has faced a bit of tougher competition. I do think that's valuable in the UFC. I actually think he has better wins than Ryan Loder as well, and I think he's going to get this one done by TKO in the second round. He has a lot of finishes in his career, and I think he's going to add one right here against Ryan Loder. If you guys know, you know. Bezkat Almakan versus Alexander Topuria. This one is crazy because I know a lot of people are going to see Alexander Topuria. It's Ilya's brother. He has a lot of hype. People are going to pick him automatically. Bezkat is a dog. This is actually a terrifying fight for Topuria, in my opinion. Bezkat is very powerful. If you don't know much about Bezkat, he won his last fight in dominant fashion against Brad Katona. And honestly, you don't see a lot of people run through Brad Katona quite like that. But if you're good, you should be running through Brad Katona. He's not a good fighter. So Bezkat absolutely killed him in the first round. And if you don't know, have I been saying Bezkat? It's Beksat. He stepped in on short notice to face Umar Nurmagomedov. Yes, Umar, when he was on a good streak. And he dropped Umar with like one of the first punches he threw. This dude's got power. He's dangerous. I'm scared for Topuria. Topuria is very good still. All around, very great. And I think I'm going to lean Alexander Topuria. Don't get me wrong, I could totally see a world where he gets KO'd in this fight. I'm not going to lie. Beksat is so good. But Topuria, I think he's going to win in a kind of boring fashion. I know that sucks to say. His grappling's a lot of fun to watch. But if Umar can hold down Beksat, I think Topuria is going to be able to kind of follow that code right there. Follow that path to victory. I think Topuria is going to use a lot of grappling and wrestling to get this one done. I wouldn't want to stand with Beksat. But I think it's going to be kind of a lackluster win for Topuria. I hope it's electric. I hope there's a big KO here. Either way, I'm going to lean Topuria until he loses. He's got a lot of hype. There's good reason for it. Until I see him lose, I can't really pick against him right now. But Beksat's really good, so just keep an eye out on that. Oh, Jesus, this name. Both of these names. Abdul Rahman Yakovlev. Oh, God. Versus Rafael Becerra. Like I said, don't know how to say names, but I know ball here. At the time of me recording this, Abdul was like a minus 1,300 favorite. I'm not even kidding. That should never be the case in a UFC fight. That is ridiculous. And if he doesn't get a knockout with like the first punch he throws, then it's stupid odds, okay? With that being said, though, I do think Abdul is going to win this fight in the first round with a KO. Rafael is not the greatest fighter, and Abdul's kind of a monster. He just got a 30-second KO, TKO on Dana White's Contender Series. His first fight in the UFC, he's got a little bit of hype to him. I think he's going to steamroll this fight, honestly, and if he doesn't, something's seriously wrong here. But, yeah, I think this guy's actually pretty good, so hopefully he follows through and gets a first-round knockout. Alex Perez versus Asu Alambayev. Now, this one's pretty interesting. I have no idea how Alex Perez is still ranked in the year of 2025. He does this weird thing where he wins 2 to 3 fights for every 2 to 3 years he takes off of the sport. He beat Mateus Nicolau. That's like his only notable win, but he's been losing quite a bit lately. His last fight, he lost to Tatsuro Taira. It was an injury, but he was going to lose that fight. Asu Alambayev has been pretty active. He won his last fight against... God, I'm forgetting the name, but it was someone I thought was actually going to beat him. But Asu Alambayev did win that fight. His last loss was to Manel Cap, who's actually very good. And even that fight, the stoppage was weird. He got like eye poked low key, but I think Asuel Mbayev pretty good. He's boring. I think he's gonna use his grappling and just do enough to beat Alex Perez in a decision. I think that's it. And hopefully Alex Perez cannot be top 10 anymore, because what is that? Like, flyweight's low key good and Alex Perez is ranked like 7th or something. That's crazy work. Is he? Yeah, he's ranked 7th. Jesus. Okay, moving on. This one. Nicholas Dalby versus, oh god, Sagid Ismakayev. I definitely said that wrong. It's his UFC debut, but look at this fool's record. He's 22-2. From Russia. Oh god. Oh god. Okay. Now, if you know ball, you know Nicholas Dalby always puts on a fight. He just had that insane fight against Randy Brown where he did get absolutely slimed out cold, but that fight was a war. He is a straight up savage out there. Sagid has a lot of hype on him in this fight. It's his debut, but 13 of his 22 wins are by submission, so he's a finisher. He's coming out of one championship, which is an actual like valid promotion. I think one championship and Cage Warriors is actually like pretty good to come out of. I actually really like Nicholas Dalby, and it hurts me to say this, but I do think Sagid is going to win with his grappling. I think he'll be fine on the feet. I think he's going to get this one by decision, but this is a really tough matchup to have in your debut. But that just shows how good this guy is. So I do think he's going to get this one done by decision. All right, if you know ball, you know ball. Bogdan Grod versus Luke Riley. I'm going Luke Riley, guys. Bogdan Grod is solid, okay? His last loss was to Naimov, which is like a fine loss to have. He's lost to Tom Nolan. Like, these are good names to lose to, honestly. He's only lost one fight by KO, but Luke Riley's going to make it too, because Luke Riley throws bombs. He really does. He has, like, so many finishes. He's so fun to watch. I'm really high on this guy. I think Luke Riley's going to be able to TKO him within the first 2 rounds. That's my prediction. This is, again, a pretty tough matchup to have in your debut. So, props to Luke Riley, but I think he gets this one done. Okay, Tagir Ulanbekov versus Kyoji Horiguchi. Am I tripping, or has Tagir Ulanbekov been 17-2 for the last, like, 6 years and ranked? What is he? He's ranked number 11 in flyweight. How are you 17-2 at flyweight and not past? Like, what? How is he, like, not top 5? Okay. His competition has not been that great, and he makes it close every time. It's crazy. Honestly, Kyoji Horiguchi, this is his first fight in the UFC since 2016. He did fight in so many other promotions, and look at his record, 34-5. He's kind of a beast, okay? If you look at his record, he has notable wins over guys like Sergio Pettis. That's a really good win, in my opinion. Ulanbekov's been on a crazy run lately. His last loss was in 2022 to Tim Elliott, who's somehow still proving to be good. Realistically, you should probably pick Ulanbekov to win this by decision. I'm picking Kyoji Horiguchi. I think he's going to be able to stuff the takedowns. I think he's going to be able to avoid the grappling. He could totally get Islam, like, held down, but I think he's going to piece up Tagir Ulanbekov. Let me just say TKO. Why not? I think that'd be fun. Horiguchi, TKO, 2nd or 3rd round. This is probably the least confident pick I have, but I'm going with it because I want it to happen, okay? Next up, oh my god. So, ignore what you're looking at on the screen. You can see here, Sergey Spivak is officially out of the fight against Shamil Gaziev. Who steps in? It's Waldo Blobo Cortez Oblobsta, who just beat Sergey Spivak. Now originally I was gonna say this was like a fight of cardiac arrest. Who's gonna get into cardiac arrest first? Like, they're both gonna be like like dying after the first round. It's really tragic. I was picking Shamil Gaziev to beat Sergey Spivak. I thought it was going to be close. I thought it was going to be competitive. I thought Shamil's better on the feet. Spivak's not going to be able to get him down. But now he's facing Waldo Cortez Acosta, who somehow is ranked like top 6, I believe, in the rankings. He's been good. He just beat Spivak. He's beating decent names. I mean, just looking at his Tapology, his last loss was to Sergey Spivak. Pavlovich. God, and yeah, he just beat Ante Delija too. Oh my god. Yeah, look at this. He lost to Delima. Jesus. Okay, but then he started going on a pretty good streak here. Beat Ryan Spann, beat Spivak, lost to Pavlovich, but that's like, you know, a fine loss to have. And he survived. He went to a decision. If Pavlovich isn't knocking you out, don't think Shamil's going to. He beat Ante Delija. I think Waldo Cortez Acosta is going to beat Shamil Gaziev, our glorious king. I was so excited because I was like, oh, Shamil's going to beat Spivak and he's going to be ranked number 7. If Shamil wins against Waldo Cortez Acosta, I don't even. Like, I might model myself after Shamil. Like, I'll try to be him. But I think Waldo's just too good. I think he's going to beat Shamil. I think he's better on the feet. I think he's better on the ground. Cooked, man. I'm going to pick Waldo by decision because it's short notice. God, he's going to stun on him. Okay, we're just going to move on before I cry. Jack Hermanson versus Mitzbek Orablai. This one was tough. I was actually leaning Jack Hermanson for the longest time. I was thinking, he's going to do his thing, his pitter-patter decision, but then reality hit me, and I realized, nah, this is going to be Mitzbek Orablai's win. Hermanson just got KO'd badly by Gregory Rodriguez, but low-key, I thought he looked okay in that fight. He also has beaten guys like Joe Pyfer. He has good wins on his record, okay? 24-9, but he's had some good wins, and he's fought really tough guys. Orablai's last loss was to Mateusz Rebecki, who's actually a solid loss to have on your record as well. He's been quite active. He's much younger. I think 10 years younger. Believe it or not. I don't know if you could guess that looking at these pictures, but he's 10 years younger than Jack Hermanson. I think he's going to be quicker. I think Jack's time's done. He's also moving down in weight at 37 years old. Like, that's kind of crazy to me. I think Orablai's going to get this one done by decision. But low-key, like, if Jack pulls it off, I wouldn't be super shocked. I think he's pretty crafty, but I'm going to pick Mitzbek Orablai. I think that's a pretty common decision right here. Moving on. Volkan Ozdemir versus Alonzo Menifield. What a crazy matchup we got. Volkan is still a dude. He last lost to Carlos Olberg, who's literally going to challenge for the title next. He has wins over Johnny Walker, Guskov, Rakic, Paul Craig. Like, he has good wins on his record. Alonzo Menifield is taking Omar Sy to a close decision. Like, I just don't think that's a good look. I think Volkan Ozdemir's got a lot of power. I think he's going to be able to KO Alonzo Menifield. I don't know what Menifield can do to win. Somehow Menifield's 17-5. Like, that's a good-looking record. I think Volkan's better. If he loses this fight, that's crazy. Ozdemir's going to KO him within 2 rounds. That's my prediction. Oh boy, here we go. Here's where things get real good. Belal Muhammad versus Ian Gary. We will be locked in. Belal, he has hands like Canelo. He's going to beat you in the stand-up, the grappling, the wrestling, all that. Did you hear what this man said at his press conference thing today? Talk about the Epstein. Okay. What prompted him to say that? Look at this man. He's crazy. People hate Belal. I think he's kind of hilarious. People hate Ian Gary. Yeah, that fool's kind of annoying, but he's a good fighter, okay? Unfortunately for Belal, though, 24 win, he was on a crazy run. The Leon win, I feel like, is going to age a little bit rough lately. The Sean Brady win's good, but he did just get KO'd, so I don't know. Gilbert Burns had one arm. There's not a lot of crazy good wins on Belal's resume, which is kind of tragic. I think he has no chance of finishing Ian Gary because he's never, finished. Period. But he's a good fighter. I'm not hating on Belal. He's just not a finisher. I actually think Belal's quite underrated, quite good. Gary's only losses to Shavkat Rakhmonov on short notice. It was actually, a really good performance in hindsight. I know it was boring, but Shavkat just couldn't get Ian Gary down and just held him against the cage. That's Shavkat, not Ian Gary. Ian Gary was defending but lost because he was defending. I can't believe that's how the sport works. Anyways, if Shavkat couldn't grapple, ragdoll Ian Gary, I don't know if Belal could, but low-key, the way Belal was flipping Leon on his head and stuff, maybe. But I think Ian Gary's going to be able to shut off all those takedowns. I think on the feet, it's going to be Ian Gary just annoying Belal. I think he's way quicker. I think he's a better striker. I don't think Belal's a bad striker, but he's not great. I think Ian Gary's going to pick him apart, and I think Ian Gary's going to win a 30-27 decision. I wish this was 5 rounds. Do I mean that? Because maybe the same thing for 5 rounds. But I think Ian Gary's going to win a decision. I want to pick a KO because that'd be electric if he KO'd Belal and then got on the mic and was like, I just knocked out Belal Muhammad. Give me the title shot. All that. That's Ian Gary, by the way. I know. Do I low-key look like him? Anyways, I think Ian Gary's going to piece this man up. 30-27 decision. Call out Islam. I think that's the fight to make. Islam versus Ian Gary. It's actually really interesting. I think Ian Gary actually has a good chance of doing well in that fight, possibly winning. I would pick Islam, but Ian Gary's going to win this fight. And for the main event, Arman is back from his back injury with Nina Drama. I don't know what they were doing. They were messing around. Arman's backs aren't hurting. Pulled out of the fight that I was supposed to go to, Islam versus Arman, but it didn't happen. Okay. Arman versus Dan Hooker. This is a crazy matchup, honestly. Out of nowhere. Didn't think Dan Hooker was going to get this fight. I'm excited for it, though. I think this is actually a banger. Arman's back for the first time in 18 months. I need to know what they were doing, dude. My God, what puts you out for that long? Jesus. His last win was back in 1974 against Charles Oliveira. It was a really competitive fight, but Charles is going to make fights competitive. That's just, he's good. He did clearly win, in my opinion, though. Great performance by Arman. He was able to control Charles on the ground, avoid all the submissions. He got out of them all. He looked good on the feet. Like, he's a solid striker, not the best. I think that's where Dan Hooker's chances really skyrocket. I think he could piece up Arman if he catches up to him. Dan Hooker's got pretty good scrambles. He's scary on the feet, but he also gets hit a lot, and I think Arman has good enough striking. And obviously, I think the grappling's really going to separate this fight. Arman's been doing a lot of grappling and like wrestling tournaments and stuff while he hasn't been fighting in the UFC. He just submitted like Benson Henderson. He's been doing a lot of those grappling things, and I think that's going to benefit him a lot in this fight. Arman's so young. He's just getting better. That time off weirdly is going to help him. I think he's just going to grapple Dan Hooker, and I think he's going to submit him in the 4th round. Now, who am I rooting for? Low-key, I think I'm rooting for Arman. No, I'm not. This is a 50-50 fight. I don't really mind who wins. I think Arman's going to win. I do. But if Dan Hooker won, like KO'd Arman in the 1st round or something, oh my god, that would be electric. Winner of this absolutely should face Ilia Topuria next. Dan Hooker's been on a decent streak. If he beats Arman, he gets a title shot. That's just how it goes. Arman, if he wins, you do Ilia versus Arman. That would be such a banger. Yeah, I'm picking Arman to win this. So those are my picks. Unfortunately for you guys, I'm going to be out at a festival this weekend, so I won't be able to make a video on this. I will be tuned in because these fights take place in the morning for me, but not going to be able to make a video right away. When I'm back home, I will do like a fights to make video. I also just am starting a UFC 5 universe mode. I know. I'm creating my own universe within UFC 5, the video game, and I believe the first episode is going to be out tomorrow, and it's going to be weekly or bi-weekly. So y'all should check that out tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new around here, leave a like, comment what you think my picks are, like if you think I'm going to do good, who you got winning, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.